Ladies and gentlemen, from the Universal Church of Freedom, Peace and Justice, Deacon Gerald Celente.
Hello, everyone. This is Deacon Gerald Celente of the Universal Church of Freedom, Peace, and Justice. Peace. Yeah. Not one person on the mainstream media, nobody. You're blacklisted if you talk about peace. You're not allowed on here. Only warmongers. Little Lindsey Grahams. Yep. One little clown boy and girl after another. Talking about war. Nothing about peace. So the genocide in Israel just keeps escalating. You go to Friday's New York Times. Here it is. No stories about the slaughter of Palestinians day in and day out. Not an article in here about what's going on as Israel keeps expanding its genocidal war. Here's some articles. Reuters. Israeli government has approved 22 new Jewish settlements in the occupied West Bank. 22 settlements. They're not settlements. These are illegal invaders, murderous invaders, in violation of the Geneva Convention in Article 242. But we won't mention that in Reuters. We won't say, we will call them settlers. Eastern Europeans like Smotrich, who they quote in here, not Semites. Semites are from the Mesopotamia region. Oh, Netanyahu? You mean Milikowski from Poland? Oh, Ben-Gurion. Oh, you mean Green? All Eastern Europeans running Israel. These are not Semites. Prime minister after prime minister after prime minister. And as Reuters reports, Bezalel Smotrich, an ultra-nationalist in the ruling right-wing coalition, has long advocated for Israeli sovereignty of the West Bank. Sovereignty, stealing more land, murdering more people, destroying them, threw out over 40,000 Palestinians out of their West Bank homes just in the last few months. But nothing about it. And if you come out against it, you're an anti-Semite. Yep. Here's another article. Jerusalem Post. May 30th. More than 250,000 Palestinians were evacuated from Jabalah to the shelter area in the past few hours on Friday. Defense Minister Israel Katz. Yeah, Katz. Another Eastern European, not a Semite, said on X Twitter that the IDF is continuing its operations in full force. Yep. Slaughtering Palestinians right in front of everybody's eyes. No outrage. And if you come out against it, you're a genocide. Say genocide, you're an anti-Semite. Genocide in front of everybody's eyes by the definition. Our foremost commitment is the protection of our brave soldiers. Brave soldiers. What a joke. He said. Yep. No outrage. None at all. What else do we have here? Oh, they supposedly have a peace agreement coming on. But, again, from the Jerusalem Post, Hamas said the new proposal was more biased in favor of Israel than previous proposals. And that Witkoff, that's the United States Middle East envoy there, Steve Witkoff. They said that Witkoff accepted most of the demands presented by Ron Derma, that's the Israeli guy, in a meeting with him on Tuesday. Furthermore, very important, the new proposal does not provide a clear American guarantee that the temporary ceasefire will lead to a permanent one. And that's what happened with the first ceasefire. As soon as it ended, Israel ramped up its murder and destruction of Gaza. Israel strikes, kills 62 more Palestinians. This is from antiwar.com over the last 24 hours. Yep. Israel attacks on Thursday included heavy strikes in the refugee camp in central Gaza. It just keeps going on and on and on. Slaughter by the day since March 18th, when Israel violated the ceasefire agreement. Some 4,000 Palestinians have been killed. Nearly 12,000 seriously injured. And to date, nearly 55 Palestinians have been murdered. And when you look at the Lancet numbers, it's well over 100,000 because a lot of people are buried in rubble. And Israel keeps expanding its genocidal wars, killing and murdering everybody they want, anywhere they want to go, and the United States supports it. This is from Al Jazeera, May 29th. Israel launches wave of strikes across South Lebanon. Yep, slaughtering people and occupying territories in violation of that ceasefire agreement, but no outrage. And if you come out against it, you're attacked. And this is in Friday's Wall Street Journal. Bravo for them. You ready? Ben and Jerry's calls Gaza a genocide. These are two Jewish guys, Ben and Jerry. Bravo for them. Ben and Jerry's is calling the Gaza conflict, it's not a conflict, it's a war, a genocide, a rare move for a big consumer brand, and one that puts its corporate parent in a difficult position. Quote, we stand with all who raise their voices against genocide in Gaza, from petition signers to street marches to those risking arrest, and us. I am a warrior for the Prince of Peace. I hold peace rallies every year and do everything I can for peace. And it would be great if Ben and Jerry's donated to Occupy Peace and other peace movements. They're very brave. When humanity is at stake, silence is not our option. Now is the time to speak truth to power. Bravo for them, because if you do not take an interest in the affairs of your government, then you are doomed to live under the rule of fools. Plato said that. And we are living under the rules of fools. The fools are in charge. Murderous, arrogant, narcissistic fools. And now Israel is bombing the Houthis. The Houthis are bombing. Say they're going to bomb Israel. Israel just bombed the major airport in Yemen, blew up a couple of planes. And now they say they're going to, this is just going to keep escalating. No demands for peace. And the Ukraine war is heating up. They had the King Charles come to Canada. What king? Who made up this king crap word? A murderous royal family. As I say, if they were Italian, they'd call them the mafia. The royal family. We're royal. We get dressed up in our drag and put on our costumes and sit on thrones. We murdered people all over the world where the sun never set on the British Empire. And people look up to these murderous group of people. And now what they're doing? Back to murder first class. Yep. By the words of this arrogant little clown boy, the king. We must be clear-eyed, Charlie boy said, sitting on an ornate chair. That's the way they describe it in the New York Times. An ornate chair. You could only sit on any other chair. You're not allowed to sit on this. You're not royal. The world is more dangerous and uncertain place than at any point since the Second World War. Canada is facing challenges that are unprecedented in our lifetime. Yep, and he's right. Not about Canada, about World War II. And this is how they write this. Military bagpipers and drummers fill the air as the musicians marched outside the temporary home of the Senate, a former train station where Charles spoke. You ready? The royal couple. Shove this royal crap up you know what. The royal couple boarded a ceremonial horse-drawn coach with 25 horses. Look at this freak show. As people in Gaza and around the world have been slaughtered. And the carny boy, the bankster guy that's now that took over True Dope up there in Canada, spending on military will increase by $64 billion. Add up to $64 billion. Yep. According to Bloomberg News. And Germany with Merz, Heil Merz. It's the cover of our Trends Journal magazine. Like World War I, World War II. Germany ramping up defense for World War III, Heil Merz. This BlackRock guy talking about building up the military-industrial complex. Germany will maintain and expand its military support to Ukraine. Yep. And the two countries will start a joint program to produce long-range weapons that Kyiv can use against Russian targets, Merz said. Berlin adopted a constitutional amendment lifting limits on how much it can borrow to spend on defense. And they're going to borrow $1 trillion to keep building up Merz's, quote, military-industrial complex. The military-industrial complex that President Dwight D. Eisenhower, five-star general, supreme commander of the Allied forces during World War II, said is robbing the nation of the genius of the scientists, sweat of the labors, and the future of the children. And Europe is all building this up, Canada, and the propaganda that they're putting out is this is going to build up the economy. No, it's not. Products that are produced only enrich the military-industrial complex. When products that are produced like clothing, furniture, shoes, whatever, food, and they're consumed by people, that's what drives up the economy. And then you read the articles coming out. This is from RT. Germany threatens EU states with loss of funding. Germany would consider supporting a suspension of EU funding to Slovakia and Hungary if the countries continue to oppose the bloc's sanction policies against Russia, Heil Merz said. Yep. We will not be able to avoid this conflict with Hungary and Slovakia, if we continue on this course, we cannot allow the decision of the entire EU to depend on a small minority. Germany has agreed to a new $55 billion aid package to Ukraine and the joint production of long-range weapons. That's from Euronews. And you look at this, again, another costume act. You see these two guys, and they roll out the red carpet. Look at the red carpet. And look at all the little boys dressed up in their drag costumes saluting behind them. And this is the Zelensky that was renowned before he became the president of Ukraine, that used to play the piano with his penis.
That's the TC.
All right? All right? It goes back to what Plato said. If you do not take an interest in the affairs of your government, then you are doomed to live under the rules of fools. Need more proof than that? Right in front of your eyes. Russia prepared to strike Germany in response to terrorist attacks. This is coming from RT, May 29th. Russia could authorize strikes inside Germany if Ukraine receives and attacks it with German Taurus cruise missiles, said a senior Russian lawmaker. State Duma Defense Committee Chairman Andrei Katapolov insists that the weapons require Germany's military assistance to operate. We are ready to shoot down the Taurus and to strike the places from where they would be launched and those who would launch them. And if necessary, the places where they would have been delivered. You got it? These are the Germans that are ramping up the war against Russia that killed over 25 million of them in Operation Barbarossa in World War II. Yeah. Oh, and these are the Russians that defeated the Germans before the Americans did in World War II. But you're not allowed to talk about that. Turkey and Belgium will join the drone coalition for Ukraine. Yep, drone coalition. Isn't that a nice word? Germany, this is from TASS news agency, directly engages in war with Russia. Lavrov, this is the Russian foreign minister, said, if I got it right, German Chancellor Merz said at a press conference that he means to fund the production of missiles of any range in Ukraine. Supplying German missiles is allegedly out of the question. We must delve a little deeper into that. Both of them are inflaming tensions and supporting the war. Germany is now directly engaging into this war, he said. So there you got it. When all else fails, they take you to war. The German economy is failing. And they're ramping up war as the European economies are failing. We need peace on earth, and we can't do it without any money. Bravo for Ben and Jerry. Where's Gates? Where's Musk? Where's Buffett? Where's Pichai, Cook, Zuckerberg? Where are they? Where are the billionaires out there? Not a penny for peace. If we don't have peace on earth, these fools are going to escalate the war, and it's going to be hell on earth. So please do what you can. If we had, out of 1 billion people, give, let's say, 1 million of them, give $10, we'd be able to get this peace movement moving. But there's myself, Scott Ritter, very few, Judge Napolitano, a bunch of guys, Douglas McGregor, Phil Giraldi, a few of us fighting for peace. But we can't do it without you. United we stand, divided we die. Thank you for tuning in, and please donate to Occupy Peace or the Universal Church of Freedom, Peace, and Justice. Thank you.